At the Engels airfield, which was attacked by drones on March the 20th, the Russians could have stored dozens of missiles, aviation expert Konstantin Krivolap said. In an interview with the YouTube channel RBC-Ukraine, he noted that at the time of the attack, no more than 3 Tu-95MS bombers and 2 Tu-160s could have been at the Russian airfield. There is currently no information about the destruction of these aircraft. Speaking about missiles, the expert recalled that several days ago, an An-124 Ruslan flew to this airfield, and the other day an Il-76 was also spotted there. Both aircraft are cargo planes. He usually brought somewhere, so it was calculated that he could bring 7 to 8 missiles. If we take into account but there was also a Ruslan, then there could really be several dozen missiles, maybe even more than 50, Krivolap believes. Another expert, Andrei Kovalenko, notes that this airfield had about 100 cruise missiles for the enemy's strategic aviation, Kh-101 and Kh-555 missiles. Tu-95s flew to this airfield, loaded up, and flew to other airfields before missile strikes on Ukraine. Recall on March the 20th, powerful explosions thundered in the area of the Engels airfield. Footage of smoke columns in the direction of the airport was published online. The fact of the detonation was later confirmed in the Russian Federation. The media reported that a warehouse with Kh-555 and Kh-101 cruise missiles for Tu-95 and Tu-160 bombers was hit. It is known that the detonation of the ammunition lasted for several hours. The Kh-101 is a Russian-made, advanced, stealthy, long-range subsonic cruise missile that is launched from a strategic bomber. The missile was developed in the late 1990s by Russia's Tactical Missile Armament Corporation. It is designed to strike strategic targets at a range of up to 5,000 kilometers with high accuracy. Overall, the Kh-101 is a highly capable weapon system that provides Russia with a long-range precision strike capability, making it an important element of the country's strategic deterrent. According to several reports, the Kh-101 it has been used by Russian forces in Syria to strike ISIS targets and is also deployed by the Russian forces in the Ukraine war since 2022. The missile has a streamlined airframe which is optimized for low observability and minimal radar cross-section. It has a length of approximately 7.5 meters and a wingspan of about 4.4 meters. It has several stealth features, including its airframe design, which reduces its radar cross-section, and its low-altitude flight profile, which allows it to fly under the radar and avoid detection. The Kh-101 can carry a variety of conventional or 20 KT nuclear warheads, including high explosive, penetrator, and cluster munitions. The missile, equipped with a high explosive or fragmentation warhead, is designed to destroy ground targets such as buildings, bunkers, and military installations. The missile can also carry a penetrator warhead, which is designed to penetrate hardened and underground targets such as reinforced concrete structures, bunkers, and tunnels, as well as cluster munitions warhead, which can release multiple small sub-munitions to cover a larger area and destroy multiple targets. The missile, armed with a conventional warhead, has a range of up to 3,000 kilometers. It has a weight of 2,200 to 2,400 kilograms and can carry a warhead weighing 400 to 450 kilograms. A Kh-101 missile costs $13 million per piece. Cost of the Kh-555 missile, $4 million. The Kh-555 is a Russian long-range subsonic cruise missile with a conventional or nuclear warhead, and its history can be traced back to the development of the Kh-55 in the late 1970s and early 1980s. The Kh-55, also known as the AS-15 Kent, was designed by the Soviet Union's Raduga Design Bureau as an air-launched weapon for strategic bombers like the Tupolev Tu-95MS and Tu-160. The missile entered service in the early 2000s and has since become an important component of Russia's airborne strategic force. Over the past 2 years, Russia has significantly stepped up its subversive activities in an attempt to pressure Europe and the United States to curtail support for Ukraine, the New York Times reported, citing a report by the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Moscow's covert campaign targets undersea cables, warehouses and railways in Europe, with Russian attacks quadrupling from 2022 to 2023 and then tripling from 2023 to 2024. This is an important tool that the Russians are using in coordination with their conventional war in Ukraine. It makes very little sense for Russia to move troops across the border into the Baltics or Finland right now. But their retaliation against these countries that provide weapons is to go after their companies, assassinate their officials, and threaten critical infrastructure, said Seth G. Jones, the study's author and former US military advisor. A Western official told reporters that Russia had suspended its sabotage in recent weeks amid Washington's efforts to end the war in Ukraine. At the same time, experts believe that the campaign against targets in Europe could continue as soon as European governments adopt new plans to support Ukraine with weapons or send peacekeepers. Countries that support Ukraine have been given to understand that Russia can impose costs and increase them. There is little evidence that the Russian campaign was effective last year. But with the United States apparently backing away from its support for Ukraine and European allies, the question will be whether Russia's covert campaign can be more successful in pushing countries to reconsider their support, publication states. Recall in February 2025, it became known that sabotage against warships, infiltration of naval bases, and attempts to approach active military personnel were being recorded in Germany. At that time, the commander of the country's navy, Jan Christian Kark, said that the growing threat from Russia was more urgent at the beginning of 2025 than 2 years ago. In addition, in the Baltic Sea off the coast of the Swedish island of Gotland, an underwater cable was torn once again. The Finnish company that owns the cable, Cinia, noted that this is the 3rd time that an underwater cable has been damaged in such a short period.